Hey, everybody. Hi, Sari.
Hi, Quinn. How's it going?
It's going all right. I'm so excited. You guys will probably recognize Sari Karplus. She was here before. We were thinking before we came on because we were like in the background chit-chatting before we came on. And we were thinking she was here in August.
That's what I think it
Sounds
was.
about right. But
Yeah.
she was here for her first book. Oh my gosh, I didn't even pull it out. Your first book, Robotastic, but she has it, which is awesome. And Aidyn loves it. You guys, I'll try to link like the previous podcast and read aloud, right?
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and read aloud. And guys, so all right, let me introduce the show and then we'll get into this. So this is a parenting and bonding with children's book podcast where we believe that books are magic and have the power to transform homes. On this podcast, we talk to the authors behind the magic to find out the true intentions behind the books. And we are here tonight with Sari Karplus. Are we going to say hello again? Hi.
Hi.
And so I'm going to go and give you guys like a brief introduction ish to Sari. But one of my favorite things about her is that she's a stand up comedian. And so, so I'm going to try not to laugh too much while we're on, not to put any pressure on you, but.
No, I promise no laughs today. None.
Okay. But
Zero.
Aidyn and I love her books because she makes us laugh and she teaches us a lesson without us like really feeling like, is this the right word? Like, it's not preachy.
Yeah.
It's like the message is hidden but overt. Like it's right in front of your face, but it's hidden in this like really, really funny story, right? So let me just give you guys a brief introduction. So Sari Karplus is no stranger to storytelling. With her background in improv, parenthood came with a welcome challenge of making up bedtime stories. I loved it because you would make up stories on the fly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I love that we have to have like a prompt here. Like we do like this thing to give me 2 words and I'll give you a story.
Oh, I love
But
that.
yeah, but it sounds like you were doing it like on the fly, right?
Yeah. It's so fun to just make them up. I did it at dinner the other night. They're like, please, can we get a story? I'm like, eat your peas. And then, as long as you're eating your peas, I'm telling a
Yeah.
story.
Gosh, all these kids, vegetables are hard. Okay. So like I said, she comes up with stories on the fly, but we talked about her first book, Robotastic, where the story really stuck about a boy who sets out to build a robot. And it led into her second book, which we're here to talk about tonight. And it's called Robotastic, Jake and the Giant Beach.
Yay.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Quinn. I love being here.
Yes, I love you being here. So what did I miss in introducing you? Is there anything you want to add?
Oh, I'm always tricky with this because I've had so many different directions in my life. I spent 10 years as stand-up comic, and I work in tech, and I also was a screenwriter for a while. So we're write and direct short films. And interestingly enough, I almost turned Robotastic into a short film, and I was just like, I can't. It's not that. It's a book. It's a kid's book, and so
it's a kid's book. But we can see it. Like we can see like cartoons and stuff.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be a fun series, like a TV series to have the Robotastic kids on adventures?
That'd be cute. Is there going to be, okay, I'm jumping ahead for those that may not have read the first book, right? Is the third one in the works? Can I ask you that?
Yes, but it's early. It's early. I have like a rough outline for it, and it's happening, but it's rough.
Is your plan to do a different main character for each book?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm asking this not to skip ahead and like confuse the people watching, but because I can see like the kids, like the Robotastic kids, like a whole team of them doing this show, and that would be so cute. Okay, not to jump ahead. So
it's going to be a girl star of the next one.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. A very high energy, tech loving little girl.
I love it. And I work in tech as well in like my full-time job. So that excites me.
Yeah. There are really not as many women in tech as there ought to be. It's surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, I often, like, when we were in the office, where I sat was like right outside of the HR team, and that was like their whole, like, just trying to like plan events to attract more women into the company. It's really difficult. And
Yeah.
so when we read books like the one, like your books, and then the one you're working on next, showing little girls that it's cool to build I mean, I'm only guessing just from the
Yeah.
first two books you did, that it's cool to build robots,
Yeah,
and you can
absolutely.
do it, encouraging them. That's so
Well,
important.
it's fun because I have 2 sons and a daughter, and my daughter is probably the most tech savvy of all of them. She loves to
Okay.
program. She's like, it's weird. Like she used to avoid Zoom class and like do these like computer programs on the side. I'm like, I'm both delighted and appalled by this.
And how do you say, like, stop programming and pay attention in class? Like, how do you say that?
It was tricky. I'd have to be like, are you listening to your teacher? Mm-hmm.
And she probably was,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
kids can like do, especially when they're really used to something. Like, I talk to parents about, like, if they think like it's hard for their child to like stay engaged with the book,
Yeah.
like, have them do something that's kind of like doesn't take a lot of brain power. And
Yeah.
programming does, but when you're into it and you love it, you can do it with your eyes closed, right?
Yeah.
And so I talk to parents all the time. I mean, programming is like something different. I talk about like Play-Doh and crayons and
No,
you know,
but I mean, that's probably the
coloring.
more likely way where you'll pick up the story.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But that is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about the second book,
Yeah.
Robotastic, Jake and the Giant Beach. What if you had to give like an elevator pitch, what is the book about? What would you say?
It's about a boy who takes his robot to the beach and it goes horribly wrong. So
Yeah.
he sets out to make life better for his little robot friend so he can have some fun in the sun.
Okay. Okay.
And
I thought you were going to say something else. I'm sorry.
well, because it takes a turn. We actually talked about this a little bit before we went live.
It does take a turn, and I was wondering how much you wanted to talk about that.
We can talk about that. It's a little surprise in the read, but I think if you're looking into maybe getting this book, you might want to know where the turn goes.
Yes. And it kind of I think it's a beautiful moment as you're reading it, because you're already like thoroughly enjoying the book and seeing this friendship between these two, and watching this robot who goes through the story, like, and it's just like an inconvenient time for him. Like, nothing is working out. And then one of my favorite parts in the book is they're in the car, right? And the main character is the parents tell him, well, maybe you shouldn't bring your
Yeah,
robot to the beach
yeah.
next
Don't
time.
take care of your toys. Like, don't
Yeah,
bring your robot to the beach.
because the beach is not for him. And he's
Yeah,
like, my friend's gonna come with me. Like, he's my friend. He's
yeah,
not a toy. And
yeah,
he's gonna come with me wherever I am. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna figure out how to make this work for him.
yeah,
And that's when like, this book is about something else. Like, this
yeah,
is,
yeah.
and what
And
mhm,
I gave the parents a special response. And I have a friend who's an educator. He's taught all the grades K through 12. And when
yeah,
he read it, one of the things he said that he really wanted to take to his now high school students was that the parents in the book hear their kid. This
yeah,
kid is like, he's my friend. He's coming where I come. So that's not negotiable. He's not a toy. He's my friend.
mhm,
And the parents go, oh, okay, and they all think about that
yeah,
and take it in and they honor their son. And I think a lot of kids don't have the luxury of parents who hear their needs and their interests and really take it in and let them do what's true in their heart. And I think that was a really interesting moment too, because to be heard is part of the message too, to be heard and let you have your friends succeed
mhm,
by improving their life. So I mean, it's a little about abilities, because the robot doesn't have the ability to enjoy the beach like the humans do,
yeah,
right? And Jake, the lead character, calls it out. He's like, yeah, so I'm gonna make him enjoy it so I can be with him.
yeah, yeah. And I think you said something very powerful there, because I might get in a little trouble for this, but we're having the generation before us was all about like, don't talk back. like, just be quiet, like, and we're teaching this new generation, and we're in a generation where, we want to really know. Ugh, that sounds bad. We want to really know our kids and allow them the space, to be who they are. And like you said, it's really important. So that was a powerful moment with the parents. And I'm just going back to the page because I remember, okay, you said in the book they honored their son, and the dad said, "You make a great point." And then they, helped him along the way as he was figuring out how to make better accommodations for his friend at the beach.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the problem solving moments in the book?
Yes. Oh, good. Because I love this part too.
Okay. So I guess, do I need to ask a question there, or because I just love the way you walked kids through like actionable steps, like how to solve a problem, what it looked like. And I can see your tech brain in there as well.
It's a scrum meeting. No.
Yeah.
Development. I don't even know the terms. I should know those better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in fact, I'm going to show this page because I think this is really important for kids to understand. Like, he had problems that he
Yeah.
wanted to solve. And I think a lot of kids don't really, how to work through this like brain cloud of things going on of like, I don't know, I just want to make it better. So, we sort of, he made it 2 columns, one left and one right. Then he thought up some fixes all day and all night. And he has this problems column and his solutions. And he has a bunch brainstormed. And then he crosses some out and circles his favorite choices.
Yeah.
And
Sarah, I'm going to give you the screen so that they can really see the page. I don't know.
Yeah. Let me pull it up again. Of course, I opened right to that page and now I'm not opening right to it. Okay, here it is. There we go. So see the problems. Shout out to my son who did Jake's handwriting. He runs out of power, his feet get rusty, and then has little solutions. And he just made a big list and decided which ones are the best. And I think that's just really helpful for, honestly, all of us, but especially kids, to see how to work through how to solve a problem like that.
Yeah, it's important. And being able to sort through everything in our head, like you said. I mean, it wasn't until I was maybe in college that I learned about mind mapping and being able to sort everything out. And it's like, it'll be so much more effective for these kids to learn about it at such a young age. Like, it's awesome. I loved that you talked about the transition, or the how much time transpired before he actually had a solution. And I think I've talked about that because I love this book so much. I wrote a review on it. You guys can see it on my website. I'll put up the link. But that's so important for kids to know, like, you can't solve a problem, right? Like, a lot of problems right away. Some of them take time.
Yeah.
They take time. And I love that you put that in your book because it's so important to know. And it gave me a moment with Aidyn to be able to step back, because he'll have a problem and he'll get so frustrated and so overwhelmed. Like, I can't fix it right away. Like, mommy, you tell me like I'm smart and I'm brilliant all the time, but I can't figure this out. And to be able to use your book to show him the steps that the main character took, how much time it took him, how he thought through solutions, tried them out, and then he did an experiment, basically. Like, he's like, I have these solutions, but okay, let's try them out. Like, it's a whole process.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that's the beauty of being able to have kids' books for this, these explanations. Like, it's great that you were able to have a conversation about that, because I think all of us struggle to control our minds and our emotions and figure out how to get where you need to go. And to have those tools as a kid puts them in a much better position to do the things they want to do.
Yeah, I agree.
That's so cool. And by the way, your review was amazing. And if anyone checks it out, Quinn highlights so nicely the kinds of conversations you can have from reading the book, and just really good.
Because that's what it's all about. And that's why I chose the first book, chose the second book, because we're really, it's more than just reading a book and just putting it back on the shelf like, oh, that was a cool story. You know what I mean? Some books are just built different. And some books just give us the ability to have these deeper conversation with our children and be able to use them as tools, like we've been talking about from the beginning, use them as tools in our home to help us parent, because we don't always have the words or the visuals and things to give our children. And when you can just pick up a book, like pick up a book and be giving them vocabulary, be giving them reading comprehension, so many different things. And you're also teaching them how to do life.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's funny because I have an internal struggle when I write my books because I like using bigger words.
yeah.
Like I actually use the word self-reliant in here, and I was like, oh, how's my audience going to feel about that word? Or compound word.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I always put them back in. I take them out. I'm like, oh, I should make it a little simpler. And then I always end up putting them back in because I feel like kids can either deduce what they mean or have a conversation about what they mean. But usually it's a really great moment to just learn more words if they didn't know them already.
I put myself on mute because somebody is cutting the grass behind me. So I don't know if you guys can hear it or not.
No, I have trash day, so I might have to do the same thing.
We can all understand these moments.
Yes.
So yeah, so it's important for you guys watching to know, never shy away from the big words. Even like when we're reading books, I always talk to parents about, don't be afraid to read above their level. Like I don't like the levels that like publishers put on books, because it really scares some parents away from picking up that next like middle grade book or that chapter book, or even like a YA book. Like you got to pre-read YA books because some of them should be in the adult section. But
really? Oh no.
but you know, one of the powerful things about reading to our children and like really reading to them, because some people, you think it's enough. I don't want to say this the wrong way, but it's wonderful if your children like independent reading. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, that's the goal, right? But the power of sitting down and actually reading a book to your child is that you're able to read above their level, and they've been listening long before they've been reading. And so oftentimes we say these words, and just because of the way we read it, the inflections, the content around that word, they know what it means, or they can ask in that moment. And the beautiful thing about books, not that I haven't said that a million times, is that the converse, like when we're just walking through the house, we're not using advanced vocabulary. And so if we're not using advanced vocabulary, how are they going to learn it? Like, how are they going to pick it up? And I say this time and time again, school's not enough. You know, it starts at home. And when you're reading these books, when authors put words in there like self-reliance, we're increasing their vocabulary, and they're just learning so much more. Now the vocabulary is enhanced. They have colorful words. They're ready for the SATs. No, I'm skipping ahead, but you know.
But you know what? The best is when you got a little one and they repeat one of those words and they do it in context, and you're like, oh, that was a win.
I forget what Aidyn said the other day, but he said something to me, and I was just like, I try not, you know how you try not to react every time they do something cool, because like you don't want them to like be looking for that every time they do something cool. Yep. But he said this word to me, and I wish I could remember what it was, and I was just like, oh, okay. Okay. With the SAT words, it was wonderful. Goodness.
Yeah.
So,
we too. My 4-year-old once said, "Mom, don't be hyperbolic." And I'm like, what? Do you even know what that means?
She does. Were you being hyperbolic?
I might have been, yeah. I don't like being called out on it, but yeah.
Goodness, that's awesome. Hyperbolic, 4 years old. Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we talk about one of my other favorite moments in the book?
Yes, please. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I think this is my absolute favorite line, but okay, so you say, turning thoughts into things isn't easy, you see. Work can be work while ideas are free. That was powerful for me. Like as as an adult, can you tell us, I don't know, like what you meant by that?
Well, I mean, I think we live in a world of, we're all very, ideally, we're all very creative. And I think
Mhm.
that's so cool. And I think we should pursue anything that makes us happy and makes us tick and we want to share, like anything. It's great. But I think one of the things that I get flustered by is people who have all these ideas but don't ever want to do any of them. Like, I think it's really powerful to go for it and just go do the thing you're so excited about.
Yeah.
And I want to show in the book how, Jake had all these ideas, but he didn't just sit around like hoping somebody would invent a thing for his robot. Like,
Yeah.
what can I do? He thought, what can I do to make this happen? Maybe he doesn't have all the money or doesn't have all the supplies, but he put together his list of what are the best things and did the work, because you cannot replace the work. Ideas can be awesome and they can be unique and they can be special, but
Mhm.
until you do the work, it's just an idea.
That's
And I think that's valuable for our audience to know too, because um, kids are full of amazing ideas, but what about that, ozone cleaning machine that goes through the sky? That sounds amazing. How would we actually make that?
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
can we do to actually make that? Like, it sounds impossible, but the truth is every project, every new thing came with some work that made it happen.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you for that.
yeah.
I think that what I also picked up from it is that not all children are at the place. All of our children have like these great imaginations and they're creative, right? And sometimes it gets shut down.
Yeah.
Their environment, maybe the people around them, teachers, as much as we don't like to talk about it. I think we've all had a teacher that wasn't really very supportive, right? And it's important, like what you said, because to give children, like my thoughts can be things.
Hmm.
Like you're telling me that I'm thinking this thing and I can turn it into something, like it can come to fruition or it can actually be something I can hold in my hands and become tangible. How would I do that?
Yeah.
And then you give us the steps. Like
Yeah.
you give our children, like, I don't know if you get how powerful that how powerful that is, right?
I'm learning. I'm learning. I'll take it.
Like you told our kids that they could take their creative ideas that they have in their head and turn them into something. And this is how you do it. Like there's so much power, and the book is powerful, but I often talk to parents about the power from story time, and the magic of story time doesn't just lie in the book itself. It lies in the conversation that you have because of the book. And this opens up so many moments, not only just to read the book, but to talk to them about what are some of the things, how would you have solved this problem? How would you have made this a better world for that robot? Do you have a friend that struggles through the day and you can think of ways to help them along? What are some of your thoughts or creative ideas? Maybe we can turn it into something, and it doesn't have to be like you're trying to turn them into a kid entrepreneur, even though that's wonderful, but they'll need those skills, when the science fair, comes up. I
Right.
struggled through my science fairs. I really did. Just trying to develop the, concepts. It was a lot. And we didn't have YouTube and Google and all that, back then. This is a powerful way to show our kids and just put the idea in our heads like, yeah, your thoughts can be things. So thank you for that.
Oh, yes, that's awesome. Thank you for recognizing that and
Yeah.
using that as such a beautiful tool.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, as I knew, time was going to fly. Is there anything else that you want to share about your book?
Just one last thing is that
Yes.
there are some really fun jokes, and I think it's
Yes.
awesome to have books that you can have jokes with your kids,
Yeah.
because as parents and adults often have different levels of jokes. Um, our references are different. Our sense of
Mhm.
humor have evolved in a different place. It's really fun to have jokes in books that you can go back to and share. So I'm really excited about that, because this one, I love both the Robotastic books. They're both different, but they're both clearly part of the series. But I think the one that's special is this has not just a lot of powerful messages and great tools to talk about with your kids, but there's some fun laughs and moments that you can take with you.
I was on mute again. Yes. And she is always so gracious and giving us a joke on the back of the book. And if you were ever thinking about like, how do I even get my kid to sit down and read a book? When you pick up this book, you know, it is a conversation starter right on the back, you know, to get them laughing and get them engaged. Like, oh, this is cool, right? Like, why don't we just read the book? Let's read the book then, you know, and see what other funnies are inside. And you will find many of them. So, Sari, thank you so much for the work you're doing. Thank you for Robotastic, Robotastic, Jake and the Giant Beach. Love the title. Oh,
thank you.
So for all the book lovers out there, I know that the title sounds familiar. What made you go with Jake and the Giant Beach? Because as soon as I read it, Aidyn was like, "Hey, that's like such and such."
You know, well, I knew it was going to be a Jake book because Jake is the friend in the first book. So
yes.
he came from the first book, right? And so, and I knew I wanted to do a story about a beach and to bring a robot to the beach. So it's going to be Jake's story and bring his robot to the beach. And then suddenly it kind of clicked. It should be Jake and the Giant Beach. And interestingly, just side story behind the story note.
Insider information now, y'all.
Oh yeah, thank you. I had a couple people give me the note early on before it was published when I was doing my beta readers. They were like, yeah, but why is it called Jake and the Giant Beach? And I'm like, it's about a boy named Jake who's at a beach. And they're like, but so I added a whole page about how the beach felt giant to him. And so it kind of came around as it was the perfect title because the beach opened up when his friend could have a good time. And so then it became the perfect title, but also a fun play on words that sounds very familiar.
Yes. We're like keeping a secret, but you guys should know. I'm not even going to say it. You guys should know. You should drop it in the comments as soon as you hear it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I've told you guys, I've put on Sari's website, robotasticbook.com. Visit her website. I was telling her before we came on, it's a beautiful website. You can see other reviews. The first book, if you guys don't have it, there's a video promo that's really cute on her website to check out. And then you can find her on IG. She's on Twitter and has a Facebook author page as well, but you can find all her information through her website and through her IG. And the book is available where?
It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble online, and you can buy it through the Robotastic book website, which comes with free bookmarks that match the books.
Oh, cute. Okay. Thank you so much, Sari, for being here with us today.
Me. It's great chatting with you, Quinn.
Yes.
And thank you all for coming by to watch.
Yes. Thank you guys for stopping by and for watching. And check out all that Sari has to offer on her website. And thank you all and have a great night. Bye.